While providing an update to Nightly News via telephone on Wednesday, Attorney-at-Law Nigel Hughes, who is representing the Chief Election Officer, CEO of GECOM, Keith Lowenfield, informed that the court has not shifted in its position to hear arguments in relation to an amended motion which is seeking to terminate Keith Lowenfield without cause.
The court gave GECOM, through Ms. Kite, 24 hours to file their supplementary affidavit, which they had asked to do, to attach the amended motion. So far, the same timelines that were given last week in the interlocutory application are now applicable to the substantive matter.
The attorneys for the CEO as well as GECOM made appearances on Wednesday in the High Court before Justice Joanne Barlow. In June, PPP commissioners of GECOM, Bibi Shadiq, Manoj Narayan and Sis Gunraj filed motions seeking the removal of Lowenfield, Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers, and Returning Officer of Region 4 Claremont Mingo based on their alleged involvement in electoral fraud, which occurred during the course of the 2020 elections. It was recently revealed, however, that the commissioners withdrew those motions to table amended motions seeking the termination of the election officers based on their contractual agreements. Hughes told Nightly News that Mr. Lowenfield's contract stipulates that 3 months' notice must be given without cause for the termination of his contract. Hughes posited that if that clause were to be strictly adhered to, then there would be no need for litigation.
If they give him 3 months' notice without cause, not with cause, without cause, then they're entitled to do that under the acts and the contract. They're entitled to do that. And we have no complaint in regard to that. Our complaint is about summary dismissal, where Mr. Lowenfield has the right to be heard. And implicit in that right to be heard are the rules of natural justice, which affect bias and all the other issues.
Meanwhile, APNU AFC Commissioner at GECOM, Vincent Alexander, weighed in on the matter to say that the amended motion has not been tabled at the level of GECOM, and therefore the courts should not be able to rule on that matter.
Narayan undertook to submit the amended motion in time for next Tuesday. She urged him to do it quickly. Let's get it to see it before Tuesday. We have not seen it, and therefore we find it strange that the court would be saying that they're going to consider something which does not have GECOM's fiat, because GECOM has not seen it and said that this is a motion that is properly before GECOM.
It is alleged that the amended motions are seeking the termination of the 3 GECOM officers without cause. Recently, Lowenfield was granted an injunction barring GECOM from discussing the motion seeking his removal from office. Hughes expressed the view after the granting of that injunction that the Commission would follow suit with regard to the motions naming Myers and Mingo. The commissioners met on Tuesday to discuss the motions, but the meeting ended abruptly in the absence of the filing of the amended motion. Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, Wendell Badrie.